Sandy La Pastelera. In today's video, we are going to make vegan pancakes. And for this recipe, we are going to need the following ingredients. We are going to need 200 grams of flour. It can be all-purpose flour or bread flour. Just make sure it's not a flour that has baking powder on it, sorry. Then we are going to need 6 grams of baking powder. Make sure it's an active baking powder. And then we're going to need half a teaspoon of salt and 25 grams of sugar. If you don't like normal sugar, you can use brown sugar or any other sugar that you like. Then for the wet ingredients, we are going to use 20 milliliters of water. Then we're going to need 45 grams of oil. You can use canola oil, olive oil, coconut oil, any oil that you like. You can even use vegan butter and just melt the vegan butter. And then for the meringue, we are going to make an aquafaba meringue. And then we are going to need 100 grams of aquafaba. Aquafaba is a liquid that comes from the can of the chickpeas. So normally it's just a can of chickpeas, and then you just drain all the chickpeas and you can make hummus with that. And the rest is the liquid is the aquafaba. So the aquafaba has certain properties that allows you to make a meringue. So that's the first thing we're going to do, the meringue. Just make sure your aquafaba is at 30 degrees Celsius. So let me make sure that my aquafaba is at 30 degrees Celsius. Yep, so it's ready. And now I'm going to start making the meringue. For that, I'm just going to add my aquafaba into another bowl. I'm going to make a lot of noise. And then we are going to start with a hand blender or hand mixer. You're going to start whipping the aquafaba that is going to react as an egg white. And then once it's bubbly and it has formed a foam, we are going to start adding the sugar a little bit at a time. So let's get into it. You can see now it's getting all bubbly. So we are going to start adding the sugar. can see it still needs to whip a little bit more. It's just it takes a long time to make. Just be patient. Be patient. You can see it's almost there. It just needs a little bit more. See? Well, we can whip it a little bit more and it should be ready. Oopsie daisy. I think it's fine. It's ready. If we were making like a sponge cake, you can whip it a little bit more. And also the sugar allows it to make it more fluffy. So, and this one doesn't have a lot of sugar on it. Okay, so the next step, let me just turn on. We are going to use this kind of pan. It's a cast aluminum pan. So make sure you use a pan that is very heavy. So I'm just going to start warming up the pan. Oh, sorry. Because it's a very heavy pan, so it needs a long time to get ready and warm. Okay. Our next step. Now we have our meringue ready. So why do you have to have your aquafaba at 30 degrees Celsius? Remember how they tell you with the egg whites that it has to be at room temperature? So with the aquafaba, it's kind of the same. It has to be at certain temperature, so that is 30 degrees Celsius. So it's going to whip better and it's going to have more air. So don't use it cold. Use it at that temperature, and like that you make sure it's the right consistency. Okay, for the next step, we are just going to add into a bowl our flour, salt, baking powder, we are just going to mix all of it together. And then we are going to add the oil. If you use vegan butter, just make sure it's melted, but not warm. Or not hot. And then we're going to add the water. And we're going to mix it all together. This is a very easy recipe, and you don't need a lot of ingredients. Okay, so it has to look like this. And now I'm just going to add a little bit of vanilla essence. Okay, and now we are just going to add the meringue. Let me just lower the temperature a little bit. Okay, with the meringue, we don't want to destroy all the fluffy thing that it took us so long to make. So we are just going to add it to the mixture a little bit at a time. So add a little bit, mix it. So it has kind of like the same consistency. Okay, you see now it's more liquid, so it will be easier to add the meringue. Okay, add a little bit more. For me, it's easier to work like this, like I'm showing you. So first I turn like that with my right hand towards the right, and then with my left hand, I turn the bowl towards the left. So I'll make sure I mix it properly. Okay, and then the rest of the meringue. And our mixture is ready. And it looks all nice and fluffy. And now we can add it into the pan. Just make sure your pan is nice and hot. You don't want it like very hot because the pancakes will burn, but you want them. You want the pan hot enough so your pancakes can have a little, like that golden crust. Okay, I use this kind of ice cream scooper. It's a lot easier to use. Okay, let me just add a little bit of oil. Okay, just a little bit. And let's try our first pancake. Okay, I hope you can see the pancake there. And just make sure to always control the temperature of your pan. And when it starts to get little bubbles, I can turn the pancake and then cook it for a little bit longer, and it should be ready. So this recipe with this kind of scoop, ice cream scoop, it makes you round about 12 pancakes. It's getting nice and ready. Let me just have a little spatula. Okay, If you want to make this recipe gluten-free, you can try the gluten-free blends. So instead of adding 200 grams of flour, you can add 200 grams of the gluten-free mix or blend, and it should be ready. In the meantime, I can show you the pancakes that I did an hour before. So they look all nice and fluffy and very beautiful. So the only thing with pancakes is that you have to be very patient. So still, I can't see the little bubbles, so it's not ready to turn the pancake yet. The temperature, I think, is fine. And like I told you, if you don't want to use the normal sugar, you can use brown sugar. You can use xylitol, all different stevia, all different sugars. Just make sure you know how to use that sugar, and because some of the sugars you can't replace 1 to 1 with the sugar. 1 to 1 means if the recipe calls for 25 grams of sugar, 25 grams of the other sugar. So make sure how to use your sugar, and yeah, it should be very easy to make. Okay, let me check. I could have waited a little bit longer, but it's all right. The first pancake is always the tricky one because you want to make sure the pan is at the right temperature. So the first one is always the test. You're always testing with the first one. So we just have to be patient. And if you want to learn another recipe, another vegan recipe, please let me know in the comments, and I will be happy to make a video about the recipe. Okay, so this pancake is ready. I think let's just give it a little bit more on that side. This should be ready. Now we can start with it. Now we can make 2. I don't know how you like to eat your pancakes, but I love to eat my pancakes with a little bit of maple syrup and fresh fruits. That's very nice. Also, what I was going to say, I forgot. Yeah. So in South America and in the US, we call these pancakes. In South Africa, these are called flapjacks. Flapjacks. Flapjacks or fluffy pancakes. But pancakes normally in South Africa are crepes. It's very confusing. When I was there, I was like, that's not a pancake, that's a crepe. But it's the other way around. It's so funny how in different countries, even though they speak the same language, they have different names for different things. Okie dokie. Let's wait a little bit more. I hope you can see. So the next recipe, I can teach you how to make crepes or pancakes in South Africa. They're very easy to make. And normally crepes, we have them with lemon juice and sugar and a little bit of cinnamon. They're very tasty. Let me check. Pancake. Oopsie daisy. I put enough oil there. Let me bring another spatula that it will be easier to take the pancakes. Okay, you can see how they're getting nice and fluffy. And it should be ready a little bit more. And that's it. Normally, I just have my pancakes with maple syrup, like I told you. So I'm going to add it here. So what I do is I just add maple syrup, a lot of maple syrup. And then you can enjoy your recipe. So that's it for this recipe. I hope you enjoy it. Please let me know in the comments below if you made the recipe or if you have any questions about the recipe. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!